Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bright Funders Talk at Temy. Temy is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. And each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm your host, Barry, and today we're lucky enough to have an amazing guest joining us, Bora Mutluoğlu, who is co-founder at Reacher. Hello, Bora. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey Barry, thanks for having me. It's the best pronunciation of my last name, non-Turk, I've
Yes.
ever heard.
I'll take that accolade. Thank you very much. I don't deserve it. I should say estağfurullah, but thank you very much indeed. Okay, so thank you so much for taking time every day. We know you're really busy, but for those people who don't know you or your company, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so my name is Bora. I'm the co-founder of Reacher. Reacher is one of the top AI platforms for TikTok shop operations and affiliate management. We do everything from reaching out to creators, figuring out which creators you want to work with, messaging them, handling communication, setting up gamified campaigns with them, paying them retainers, doing social listening on your competitors. We do a lot of stuff. And the main focus is AI agentic workflows so that you can spend your own time focusing on important relationships with the creators and other people rather than going and clicking buttons in a platform.
So what actually led you to co-founding Reacher? What was the spark or the initiator?
My co-founder Jerry and I had worked on startups for the past over 4 years now, which is kind of crazy to think back on that. We started off with we just wanted to do a startup. It didn't matter what idea it was. So we had an idea first of over the phone translation for hospitals, like speaking Spanish to English, English to Spanish, for example. And then that failed. And then we did another one on writing a book using AI. So, for example, if we're interviewing each other, there'd be an AI listening to us, and it was fine tuned to write that into a book, like a memoir, essentially, or autobiography. So an AI ghostwriter, but that also didn't end up panning out. So then this idea, Reacher, was the last idea we decided to work on, and it's hopefully the last idea before an exit or forever maybe. So, the reason why we got into TikTok Shop was because at the time of we failed our last company, the book one, AI book one, we're just spending the week. What we did was each week, each time we failed, we would spend a week just thinking about ideas and like meeting and talking about what we should do. During that week, it only took 1 week. We found out about TikTok Shop, which had just launched in the end of 2023, early 2024, which is when we failed our second company. And we just thought to ourselves, why don't we go and look into this TikTok Shop thing? It's brand new. I'm kind of like a micro influencer. I have, about 25,000 followers across a few platforms. And Jerry was working at Instagram Shop at Meta. So it was kind of natural as well for us to look into the social commerce space, which TikTok Shop is in social commerce. And then we decided to build a solution for it. And the first solution was a script written in Python to spam creators on the platform to work with brands. That's how we started.
So those who aren't familiar with TikTok Shop, how does it work?
Yeah, so TikTok Shop is a platform that you can buy and sell products essentially, but it's integrated into TikTok. I'm sure everybody here knows TikTok. It's you swipe short form videos and you watch videos 60 seconds, 3 minutes long. So what TikTok Shop is as you're swiping through TikTok, sometimes you will be shown a video where you can buy a product from. That's a TikTok Shop shoppable video. So that is essentially what TikTok Shop is. You're scrolling through TikTok, you can purchase products that are in your feed. And the way it works is the algorithm is trying to feed you products you've never seen before, or hopefully that maybe you don't know about them, but it thinks you might purchase the product because of your algorithmic watch history, right? So it's like,
Mm.
oh, Bora likes the gym. Maybe Bora will buy this like random gym product that he's never seen before. So it'll show me that product and I can buy it directly from the video.
Yeah. So why do you think social commerce and thing like TikTok Shop, why is it growing so quickly at the moment?
It's because it's a digital world, and I think, historically, people have bought stuff just by going into, like, stores and malls and things like that. I think we've seen across America, retail and malls have kind of been on the decline. Also, TV advertising and things like that, like traditional advertising hasn't been really doing well recently because everybody's been online, right? Everybody's on
Yeah.
on Instagram, everybody's on TikTok, everybody's just spending all their time. Like if you go outside and look around, everybody's on their phone, doing some sort of social media something, right? So wherever the eyeballs are, that's where people want to advertise and sell products to. So if the eyeballs are all on TikTok, for example, people want to advertise and sell on TikTok. And that's why social commerce is growing and growing, because more brands are realizing that we need to be online, we need to be on TikTok, we need to be on Instagram, so that people like me or you or everybody that's on these platforms will learn about our product and hopefully buy it, or at least get some brand awareness from it. Correct?
So as an analyst, and you've got a lot of experience in this particular field, like what kind of key metrics do you focus on when you're looking at evaluating success for sellers?
I mean, there's two main metrics that people look at. The one metric that's common across all brands is GMV, it's revenue, right? So how much money can I make from selling on the platform? That's the number one metric. And that one is pretty black and white. It's just, is it going up or is it going down, right?
Yeah.
And how do we make it go up? And then there's brand awareness, which is, you could kind of track it in terms of likes, views, other types of impressions, such as comments and things like that, shares, right? So what I've seen is that every single brand obviously wants to increase revenue, but there's also a subsection of brands that are maybe enterprise brands or bigger brands that care more about brand awareness. I've seen this with like older brands, 100 years old, 200-year-old brands that are mainly retail giants. And they're worried about Gen Z, Gen Alpha, since they don't really go into stores anymore. They don't know about these brands. They're worried about not being able to capture that customer. So the way that they think they can capture that younger customer is by being online, by being on TikTok, by being on Instagram, and advertising to the people where they are. So my little brother, for example, is Gen Alpha, I believe, and his generation, kind of advertising, like, trying to think of a product that's not very well known by him. Maybe like a toilet roll brand or something, like they wouldn't care about that usually, but maybe the brand is just like advertising to them on TikTok so that when they get older, they're like, oh, I know this brand, I'll buy it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So when you're looking at the data, like how do you identify what could potentially be a growth opportunity for sellers on the platform?
I think there's every brand has a growth opportunity on TikTok. There's again two different ways that you can identify the opportunity. One is if there's already other people doing a similar thing or selling a similar product as that you want to sell on TikTok. What I would recommend there is that obviously that means there's competition, right? So you have to do something different. You have to have a better offer, whatever that offer might be, or you need to have some sort of a unique product, right, to offer essentially. So in that case, I recommend looking at your competitors. We have tools like social intelligence that you can use in Reacher, actually, that you can go and look at what your competitors are doing, who they're working with, and what kind of videos they're creating. And then you go and, well, I mean, I would recommend actually trying to work with the creators that your competitor is working with, to be honest,
Yeah.
because that creator already knows how to make content for your style of product and they know how to sell it. So that would be one recommendation I make. Another recommendation is that if you have a product that doesn't actually have any competitors on TikTok yet, it's still a very new platform. I would say you have to run for the hills and get on TikTok as soon as possible, because that's the blue ocean. You don't have any competitors. You don't have anybody else selling your type of product. And that's in the early days of TikTok. We saw that a lot, where like the first creatine gummy brand or the first like ashwagandha brand did extremely well because there was nobody else there and just everybody was just buying from them, right? Obviously that kind of makes sense.
Are there any like common mistakes that like creators or brands make when launching on TikTok Shop?
I guess I'll start with the creators. So
Okay.
creators, common mistakes they make. I mean, it's not a creator making a mistake isn't the end of the world, but for the creator. But something that I see a lot of creators do is that they'll like cause violations for themselves by doing something they shouldn't be doing. They'll cause problems by going into like a store such as Target or Costco or something, and they'll say, "Hey, look at this product. Like, why would you buy it in Costco or Target if you can buy it on TikTok?" And obviously, that's bad for the relations for the brand. They don't want you to go into Target and say, "Don't buy it in Target," 'cause then they might not be in Target very long.
Yeah.
So there's things like that that creators do, which is also problematic for brands. On the brand side, I think a lot of brands are still wasting their samples, because like the way TikTok works is that you send a creator a free sample, like a product for free, in hopes that they're going to make a video for you, which is another thing that creators might mess up on, is not making the video, right? So you send the creator a sample hoping that they make a video for you. Um, Now what brands mess up with here is that they don't actually look at the creator they're sending the product to enough. They don't scrutinize the creator profile enough. So maybe they'll send a product to a creator that like has really bad content, or they'll send a product to a creator that isn't a brand fit. Like maybe you don't want a creator that says certain things, but you send a product to those types of creators on accident. And then you get in trouble by your legal team or just in general, it's bad for the brand image.
Mm.
So I would say it's those are some examples of things that brands and creators can both mess up in the process.
I'm really interested in the AI aspect of it. Like, how are you using AI, and how do you see the direction of AI being used in this particular area going forward?
I mean, yeah, personally, I use AI a lot for agentic workflows, which is a very big buzzword. I'm from the Bay Area in California, and every single billboard here is all about AI, AI that. So, I mean, for myself, I use Claude a lot, Claude over any other LLM currently. If people don't know what Claude is, it's like ChatGPT or Google Gemini. It's just like a chat interface, basically. But I like Claude because it actually integrates into a lot of different apps. It integrates into like my note taker app. It integrates into Google Workspace. It integrates into Stripe for business, right? So what I do is I track what I'm doing every day and what is a repeated task I'm just doing over and over again. And then it's pretty easy to tell like what can be automated. For example, one thing I'm automating is like at the end of my meetings every day, I have a Claude workflow I've set up. That's a scheduled task that every single day it'll run against all my meetings. It's a prompt that prompt engineered, and it'll run against all my meetings and it'll pull out people that want to work with partners. For example, like if somebody mentions they have an issue with X, give me that data so that I can refer them to a partner of mine, right? So it's letting me know who I should refer a brand to. That's something I had to do manually before, and now it's saving me like an hour a day.
Wow.
And also improving my partner relationships because I'm actually sending them leads, for example, right? So that's one way I'm
Mm.
using AI personally, and there's a lot more I'm doing there. And in terms of like TikTok Shop, it's actually very similar. Like the way we see it is all of these brands are doing things manually that shouldn't be done manually. I personally think the only thing you should be doing manually is relationships with other humans, right? Like you can spend time talking to other humans, being strategic, looking at data. You shouldn't be going in and like copying and pasting messages over and over again. You shouldn't be clicking the same button a million times when a robot or an AI software can do that for you. So our goal is to basically identify what each and every one of those manual actions are that people are doing repetitively and then automate it with AI.
Do you see like consumer behavior changing based on the generation? I think you mentioned Generation Alpha earlier. I'm Generation X. I'm very old school. So do you advise marketing in a different way, or do you advise selling different things based on your generation audience, or do you find the same behaviors regardless of the generation?
Yeah, I think each generation has their things, their nuances in terms of what they enjoy and what kind of appeals to them. There's like different terminology that different generations use, obviously, that like I might not understand or you might not understand depending on your generation. So, I mean, the cool thing is when you work with affiliates and creators, you can pick what age range of affiliate or creator you want to work with, right? So,
Mm.
if your goal is to appeal to a younger crowd, you can work with creators that appeal to the younger crowd. Like we have all that data in our system, right? So for example, if you want to appeal to creators that are, age 18 and up or 18 to 25, you can filter for that in our system and you can say, I want a creator who has an audience of 18 to 25. And you don't really have to do anything else because whatever that creator is doing, I guess it appeals to the audience of 18 to 25. And if that's the audience you want, so let the creator do what they do and you're good to go from there. Because like to be honest, you or I probably don't know what that creator knows in terms of appealing to their audience, right? So you can't just
Yeah.
let them. And that's a good thing about TikTok shopping and working with creators. You don't have to do the research and looking into like the trends and whatnot in the hook of the video. They kind of just know what to do.
And are there certain metrics, like as a CRO, that you really like measure the most, or that you really concentrate on and say this is the metric that I want to go for success?
That I concentrate on, or do you mean like
Yeah,
brand?
or generally success. Like, how do you measure success? Like when you've got something, do you say, is it solely down to revenue? Is it engagement? Is it the number of contacts? Like, what is success in your eyes?
Well, I guess as a software company founder, well, so for any company, I think success is revenue, right? Like that's kind of again, unless you define success as you want a lot of views or a lot of users but not revenue, then there's certain cases where that's not true. But I think
Hmm.
majority of people define success as more revenue, more money, essentially. I would also define it as that. Like if Reacher is increasing in revenue, I'd say okay, we're being successful.
Yeah.
And success is defined as, when you exit or something, or when you're making a lot of money, you're profiting. So that's how I would define it. But another way to define success that I also think is interesting is like users, and how much users or customers really love your product and talk about it. So I guess like the visibility and the sentiment around your product. So that's something that we're working on all the time. Like beyond just revenue, sometimes I will focus on customer sentiment or user sentiment, and seeing how many people are using the product. And that's how like WhatsApp started in the early days. It was just like I don't think they still know how to really monetize, but they're all
Mm.
about users. Like they have so many users, right? So I would say WhatsApp is a successful software company or app, even though I don't think they are profitable or they make a lot of money, but they have a ton of users that actually use the
Mm.
product. Same as like Spotify. I don't know if they're profitable yet either, but that's those different ways that I would define success.
And are there any trends that you see in like buyer behavior, especially on the online? Like, I'm not very familiar with online, I must say, but I suppose what you've got the kind of knowledge in the background of like this. I can see this being very successful. This kind of behavior needs to be exhibited in order to generate the highest income.
I think again, it's gonna come down to being online. I think a lot of people are buying online again. Of course, it's still a big retail presence as well, but in order, like I can't speak for other people, but from the data I look at on the back end every day, and from also my personal experience and from things I hear when I'm in the store, because I still go to stores to buy stuff. Like I go to Costco all the time and Whole Foods and whatnot. But I'll see products in Whole Foods or Costco that I would have otherwise never looked at, but I only look at them because I saw it online on TikTok or Instagram, right? Like Mary Ruth's Organics, for example, is like one of the top supplement health brands month over month since the beginning of TikTok Shop. And they've gone into retail now. They're in Costco, or actually I don't know if they're in Costco, sorry, but they're in Whole Foods for sure. Same with Easy Bombs, who we work with as well. They are also in these stores. I think they're in Walmart, for example. And I've seen them in those stores, and I've looked at them and I'm like, oh, I know that brand. I saw it on TikTok, right? Then like, even if I'm not interested in buying it, the chance of me buying that or telling someone else about it, or like pointing it out, is much higher. And I've heard other people say like, oh, I know that brand. It's on TikTok or whatever, right? So I think that's one thing that brands need to be aware of is moving forward, you need to be where the people are. Again, I said this earlier, I'll say it again because it's super important. Wherever the eyeballs are, you need to be there. And if your goal is to get into like retail, for example, or to get more sales in retail or on your Shopify store or on Amazon, you need to advertise. And that, like, people see TikTok Shop as a sales channel only. I try to reframe their mindset. It's actually a discovery, customer acquisition, and advertising channel as well, right? Like you can be profitable on TikTok, which is super crazy because generally with ad spend, you're just spending money to hopefully get sales. But with TikTok, you can spend money and make money from your advertising and also make money externally. It's like a super crazy concept I still don't think people wrap their head around.
Yeah.
But for that reason, we've also created a halo effect tracker where you can see like your TikTok views, your TikTok sales. How does that affect Amazon and Shopify? We're also working on a retail integration, but I think that's a really important point that a lot of people overlook.
So you mentioned that retail integration. Like, when you look at the future of Reacher, let's say 3 or 5 years, do you think it will be drastically different from what you're doing now? Are you still in the early stages? Are you still learning the ropes, or is it just a matter of scaling up now? What's new for Reacher in the future?
Yeah, I think I'm always learning the ropes. It's still pretty new. I mean, we've been around for over 2 years now, which is also pretty crazy. We've come a long way. I mean, we were in Y Combinator. We, are making multiple $1 million ARR. We have a team that we pay, and they feed their families with the money that we make and pay, which is also quite weird to think about, to be honest. Because Jerry and I started as two kids in a attic of my girlfriend's parents' house, or den or attic or whatever, with no money. So like, anyways, that's a whole like crazy story to think how far we've come. There's still a lot more to go though. I mean, we like when you're in the Bay Area and you look at these companies like Meta and Google and Oracle, like these massive buildings, and they have thousands and thousands of employees, and their revenue is like in the billions, right? There's a lot to grow. But I think in the age of AI, that growth is much more achievable, much more quickly than it has been in the past. And that is something that we're trying to wrap our heads around still. I think everybody is, where it's like, what is the balance of A plus superstar human talent that is able to augment and use AI to like 10x, 20x, 30x themselves, and then the workflows and the things we should only use AI for versus humans for, essentially. That's something that we're and I think that's in the near future, more people are going to figure that out, and hopefully we will have had that figured out, and then you can just focus on scaling revenue and doing whatever else you do to grow.
So you've obviously been really successful. Now, without giving hints to your competitors, like what advice would you give to founders building in like the sales tech or TikTok shop kind of area?
Sales tech, TikTok shop area. I mean, I'll say this for everybody. Well, yeah, without giving out away too much.
Be
Competitors.
successful, but don't be too successful that you beat
Yeah, yeah.
Bora. Yeah.
Actually, don't use any AI and stop working right now. No, I'm kidding. I think using AI and looking into AI and really being kind of crazy, like I think it's called AI pilled. I say AI so much that I actually hate those two letters together, to be honest. But unfortunately, that is what is going to make the difference. That is what all these big companies are betting on, like OpenAI
Yeah.
and ChatGPT and the Claude, and these companies are burning so much money just for the bet of AI just taking off and just making tons of money for everybody and automating everything. So I think the best thing a business owner can do today is keeping a pulse on AI and actually trying to use AI every day, somehow in your workflow and forcing your team to use it as well. Like if I talk to somebody on my team and they're like, I am not willing to use AI or look at AI, they're out, done. There's no, you need to be open to tools because that's also a mindset thing, right?
Yeah. It's really interesting to talk to you, Bora, because most people come on here and they're very excited about AI. Now, I don't want to misquote you or put words in your mouth. It seems like you see AI as kind of the necessary evil to help you get where you need to go. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, what do you mean by necessary evil?
You don't particularly like it, you don't particularly want to have it, but you accept that this is the way the world's going and everyone should climb on board and get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would mostly agree with that statement. It's because like AI is also scary. Like if you're actually around super cool. Like I've been in a Waymo before. A Waymo. I don't know if most people have been in a Waymo before. Waymo is a self-driving car, right? It doesn't have a human driving it. And when you see the steering wheel move and it's going by itself and you're in the car, I just think to myself, like, if this robot car wanted to drive off a cliff, it could like crash another car. Like technically if you're in a taxi, the taxi driver could also do that. So
Yeah.
just the fact that there's no one there and your like life is in the hands of this like robot entity that doesn't even exist in front of you is like super weird and scary. And that was the first time I was like, okay, this AI stuff is actually scary. So I'm kind of scared of it, which I think most people should be scared of it. But also you kind of need it as well to
Yeah.
optimize it and be better than everybody else. So that's my thought.
Yeah, perfect. It's amazing. So you're kind of a little bit more Terminator 2-esque in the future of AI and the future of robots. Is that right?
Yeah,
So
I hope but yes.
you, you heard it here first from Bora, yes? Listen,
Yeah.
Bora, thank you so much for taking time out of your time today. We know that you're a busy man, and we really appreciate you spending time with us. That was Bora Mutluoğlu, shop growth analyst at TikTok and co-founder at Reacher.